Oh, is this the cathedral here on Münsterplatz?
Yes, this is the big cathedral, just clock striking 5 o'clock.
Nice. Just on time, you know. We are Swiss.
So here at the back, you can see the Littmann construction, which was just newly set up as an artwork in Basel at the Münsterplatz as well. So perfect scenery for our mums exhibition.
My name is Vivian. I'm zooming in from Stockholm. I'm Christa's daughter. I actually haven't seen the exhibition myself as I'm stuck here in Sweden in the lockdown and unfortunately couldn't make it for a while back to Switzerland. So I'm myself very excited to see all of this, and we'll be kind of hosting this from abroad, whilst Florence, you are our eyes and legs who are gonna walk for us through this all. And yeah, so let's tune into you.
Well, hello everyone. We're so happy that you're joining us today for this virtual exhibition, which is very exciting for us as well, and to showcase the fine art prints of our mom, Christa Jaeger, who set up an incredible exhibition, which I'm just literally standing in front of at the beautiful rooms of the International Lyceum Club Basel,
which is an all women's club, and it's all about empowering women when it comes to culture, music, sciences, and organizing many of such events like those. This is the last day of the exhibition. It was on for 4 weeks, and for the closing ceremony we couldn't do like the traditional way with drinks and inviting friends and guests. So we thought, why not? We do something different.
We are at the Münsterplatz, basically at the heart of Basel. And yeah, we're all ready to get this virtual exhibition started.
Absolutely. And I'm just seeing, like, I'm so excited. I see like people from the UK zooming in, like Nottingham, London. We have even Canada. Well, good morning, Canada, and New York, and Corfu. We see Kalyan, the musician. Hello. This has been an amazing music art collaboration today. So Flo, lead us to the door. We're very excited to see.
Yes, I think it's time. I slowly make my way to the artist who will present herself.
Well, hello. It is wonderful to see you and to meet you, and I want to welcome you to zoom in dialogue with nature. I just wanted to let you know that I have been working as a therapist for 20 years. And the main thing actually for me was to look and to listen carefully before I start thinking or acting or talking. And my clients had the age between 9 and 35. And for me, it was very important to find out all things about details, which we then could work with as resources. So the same thing actually is important to me when I take pictures, when I do take photographs. For me, I just need an open mind. I need a free mind. I need to be aware in a state of mind of mindfulness. And then I just have to be ready and present for the night. And at the same time, connect what I see with my thoughts and my concepts. So This first picture, for instance, I think is a very nice picture to start. We see tiny little stones on the sand, and each stone has a color, has a form, has a structure. And if I compare these stones with human beings, like people have a position, they have its own structure, they have an opinion, and each time a wave, and I'm not talking about Corona, I'm talking about nice waves, nice happenings. Each time something, a wave passes by, what is left are connections. And if you look at the pictures, you see what remains after the wave, connections. And they can be always new, and all these stones are connected in a collective. And just beside, we see another picture, another group, birds waiting for something special to come. They are peaceful, patient, working together, and hoping that a resource will come. And when something arrives, they act together. And this is another picture which is meaningful to me. It's like being together and living the together and the collective. And the picture underneath right here shows something which is not clear for the first moment. And the longer you stand still and you watch it, you see that this line tells you that this is the water surface where the line breaks. And you see that the reflection brings orientation. And I think it's all about orientation in life. We need to be oriented and look for orientation from moment to moment. And nature tells us all these concepts, they are all there. This is my big fascination. I like the very tiny little happenings, so-called. When we see this picture, just lines, it's actually a little bit of grass in the snow. And if I look more carefully, I can see how these lines correspond and how they work together. And to see this right angle here and see this line back here, which also make the whole picture. And the information I get from this little tiny subject is amazing because it tells a story itself. I'm for sure a person I like the details, I would say, yes. And I think collecting lots of details make the whole picture always clear. And if we move over here, we see two other pictures. It's all about plants, most of all. And nature shows us so many different aspects. And we find these aspects also in human beings. Here we see the clear structure. These plants is very sure of itself and just lives a clear system and is very well structured and very happy and colorful at the same time. And beside this plant, we see another plant which lives another story. This plant is very easygoing and creative and needs lots of space and has lots of ideas and is creative. And I think it's very important not to say this is right and this is wrong or the other way. The fascinating thing about this is that it's just the whole mix of all these presentations which make life so colorful. And also human beings live the mix. And when we step over here, we see a very important picture. Important because I did also choose this picture as an invitation card for this exhibition. Actually, it's nothing but green, nothing spectacular really. But if I look closer, there is so much information in it for me. So what it is, we see two leaves overlapping each other. It's the lotus plant. And both leaves have a middle part, so they're both very important. It could be two systems, two persons living together, sharing things together, or what I now want to show, what I learned during a congress, that this specific line here, this yellow line, shows the borderline when something really fun, which is also a lot of challenge, can all of a sudden become a burden. And it then becomes a burden, and you can see the shadow here, the warning part, that if you really are fascinated, one is often just caught by the fascination, and one goes further and further and not realizing when it's too much, when one goes too far. So it's very important to always have this in mind, that you stop before the max of the challenge and the fun and the pleasure becomes a burden. So this is a favorite picture to me. And also, if you look here down below, it's a picture and it shows nothing else but the green color. But still, the quality, kinesthetically, if you just stand in front of this picture, you can really see how this information is absolutely different. So this plant is really coming towards you. Maybe a little bit too much could be. And it just shows just that so many different things are just here and presented if your mind is ready and present and open. So I want to present you two other pictures. First of all, this one here, this little stone near a river, sort of caught, or that's the question, might also be protected. So who knows? Between these big
stones. So in this exhibition, I can tell you, I heard so many different stories. And it's wonderful how your own way of thinking bring new pictures. And it's wonderful if you can be a group and share all these different ways of looking at something. And it's so meaningful to hear all these different stories. And I'm just flabbergasted that it's always something new I never had thought about before. So is it caught or is it resting? Or for me, it is kind of resting, because that could be so healthy in this world where we have so much hectic. Even in Corona times, people are very busy or busy with their own problems or whatever they are living. And to just stand still from time to time and see what is all around you and what happens, and then move on in a different way, in more presence. And for instance, up here, there is another constellation. We have 3 big stones. Not really a nice, wonderful, inviting place to live or start life. But this plant did find this spot and saw the opportunity to grow and to blossom. And there is another saying which I like, that one says, there's no security in life. There never was. The only secure thing is that we all die. And when we know that we all will die sometime or later, we can start living again. And we can still take advantage of opportunities. The thing is to see the opportunities, and even better, to use them and to make use of it. And here we have an example. We see this wonderful growing plant, and we can learn from this. Sort of, this is the Japanese corner for me. This presents a kanji, calligraphy. It's like something written in the sand. A poem, maybe good advice for us all. I don't know. But here, I want to show there are so much unexpected coincidences in life. So this line moves on and is sort of has a following part in this seaweed. And not only this, we have another line, and also here we see this seaweed. And for me, the coincidence, yes, are just like a piece of wonder that nature can present these things, and also knowing that they won't stay for long. It really catches my eye in this very moment. And if I miss it, it might be gone in the next moment. So living in the moment for sure is a big resource. And maybe we move over here. Here we see 3 pictures which go together very nicely. This because in the middle part, we see a whole lot of green plants. It couldn't be overloaded. more than what it shows here. And on the two sides, to the left and to the right, we see two pictures which show reduction to the max. And what I like here, best in this little line, is that we have hidden parts here. And it could be that it is also, in an other way of thinking, patience. Because when we lose the line by looking at it, we have to be patient and let the plant grow. And then we might have a wonderful result. And now I want to show you these pictures. And this was an experiment, actually. It's the Lac de Violon in Canada. And I want to show, like, photographs all of a sudden become paintings. So when I was sitting on the boat with my brother Kalyan and looking on the water surface, I saw black water because the black wood was reflecting on the water. At the same time, the blue sky and the clouds were present as well and reflecting in this black water. And I was just so fascinated and so happy to see so many colors and everything so unexpected. And these pictures also were part of Kalyan's big work with his music, because what he actually did, he did choose some pictures and gave them sound.
I'm jumping in, right? Is that okay for you, Christa?
Yes.
Yeah, Kalyan, I remember the story about you initially wanting to fly to Basel and giving a live concert. And then things have changed and you guys, like, the world turned upside down and you had to be creative in a new way. I would love to hear more about your 1 month music journey and how this was for you.
Okay, so first I had to really get acquainted with these pictures. And I got different versions of it. And I also had to see the potential. Can I really hear sound with it? And actually it came pretty quick. I understood, yes, it's possible, because Christa presented me these photos always in pairs. So having pairs, or like in the last series, it's 4 pictures, I could find dynamic between the 2 or several photos. So I could bring movement into these static pictures, which then can be translated into music. So I can generally say each of these interpretations or compositions had their own life story. So some came away very easily. Maybe they came off, the idea came off very easy. And then when it came to recording, it might have got really complicated. Or some, they took a long time for their birth to somehow, so suddenly that I could feel the essence of the photo reflected in the music, and then suddenly the recording would would take less time. So each of them had different stories to tell and like a different relation in their creation.
And we are very curious about the choice of the instruments you used.
Okay, so one thing was important for me to find a way to, since I knew I would do very short clips of, I call it clips of musical experiences, they somehow had to be united into one bigger experience. So already there at the beginning, I decided I would mainly use the cello as my main thread through these different experiences of visual and auditive experience. So, but then some photo combinations like this, what Christa was calling the Zen or the winter pictures, they just called for something else. So then I tried out the flute, and suddenly I realized, okay, actually the flute can really give a contrast also to the cello, because if you have too much the same instrument, also your ear gets a bit used to it. So if you bring a complete different flavor, it creates a contrast and makes it more alive.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, I work very closely with you, and you've worked in Canada in your studio, and every day you sent a new recording. Did you enjoy the project? Was it something new for you, or like, how was it?
It was interesting. Good question. It was interesting to work with a given frame. Actually, I found that I can get much more productive with a clear frame. So the photos or pictures of Christa gave me a given frame where I had to find a way to relate to in a way that I wasn't imposing myself. It wasn't just doing something with pictures, because you can do any sort of music, like on iMovie or so. You can choose music and put it behind a dia show. But in that case, it should really reflect something of the pictures and should actually support what I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. It was very powerful and moving. And I remember you sent me one even to the birth of my son. That was the water drop picture, which you will see on the website. We have all the music pieces recorded, so you can go on Zoom in gallery and listen, and you need some time for yourself. In the exhibition we had an art installation, but it's a bit hard with the audio. We will play one at the end. But Christa, let's go back over to you. And also perhaps, Christa, one thing perhaps the audience is curious about, also your background as a learning therapist. You have not quite reiterated on this, like that you look through those eyes, because we had some difficulty at the beginning with the audio as well. So perhaps just give us a little bit more, like, you're not a photographer on a day-to-day, but this is something which evolved all your life long, but your profession is a learning therapist.
Well, I mean, I like structures. I like details. I like a clear picture. And if I want a clear picture, I need to collect details. This is what it was all about when I was working as a therapist. And finding, as I already said before, resources in these tiny little things which were present. And then making these tiny little things grow and show the clients that they are very important things there and already lived. And it was all about making them bigger and more important. So I'm just standing here beside this picture here, what I also wanted to refer on. Like, there's a Japanese saying in a calligraphy, which is also more or less round, and it says, never stop to start and never start to stop. And I like this so much because this is an ongoing theme and there's so much in it for us all. So we don't have much time left, but I want to invite you into this other room here. First of all, maybe I want to show you one thing here. We are looking at a big wall, a composition which actually was made by my daughter Florence. And the true story is that I couldn't let go some of these pictures. And I actually had always a combination of two pictures matching together. And so Florence had this bright idea of mixing them all and making a big square. And this is what happened. And I really like it because it's very colorful, it's very interesting. And in the middle, up on the top, you see this sign, which you know in music. I don't know the English name for it. It's called Notenschlüssel with us. But anyway, there is so much life in this whole creation here, which I'm happy to show you, because these pictures can be all mixed in a very free way. And maybe over here, I want to show you the sun is here a little bit too bright, but anyway, we see here this bird in Captiva walking carefully, walking with lots of awareness. And also the footprints this bird shows are really clear. And if you look at the foot, the way this bird walks, gentle, and the light of the evening is caught in its toes. So isn't it something wonderful, like so much hope and so much sun for the next step? And the feathers in the wind were just beautiful. And next to it, I composed this picture with palm leaves, and the palm leaves were moved by the wind. And the wind brought in some structure, some unexpected structure, which made the reflection of light so much more interesting and powerful. And I'm so thankful to see this. And it's also empowering for me when I see what nature presents. It's all about little things. And it's a big pleasure at the same time for me. And when I can catch it, even by taking a picture, I am very happy if I don't miss the moment. And as we slowly come to an end, maybe I want to show you one more combination. I'm talking here about this little fruit here, which is presented because nature shows it like this. There's a little orange fruit in the middle, and there is like something protecting this fruit. And it also reminds me of the center of the soul and the heart, which belongs to everybody itself. And you can choose whom you want to present what and how much of this wonderful thing inside. And I think it's wonderful, like nature can present something in such a beautiful way. And it's always the question, is it the shadow or is it the object itself which tell the whole story? I think it needs both. And most of all, it's abstract. And whoever looks at this has an own way of thinking and looking. And maybe for the last thing I want to say, how much I like the ocean, to watch it and to see how strong the water comes in. And it moves and moves and moves and has so much power. And all of a sudden, it stops and pulls back. And this empowerment of change, I think, is a very strong moment. And here, with this picture, you can see then when it goes back, it's slow, it's enriched, it is fulfilled and pulls back in a wonderful, slow way, which I like also so very much. And we know all how it is when we had a wonderful evening or with friends or a concert or a good talk, and we're really happy about it and carry so much inside to go on in our lives. Well, it was beautiful to connect all together, being so international in such a little place. And it's all about tiny little things all around us. And still the world is huge. So I hope all the best for you all. Thank you so much for joining this tour. Bye. Stay well.
Many, many thanks, Christa, for this tour, and also to you, Kalyan. I guess I speak for everyone here. It was a special experience, especially at times where all the culture events have been closed and we're all a bit culture deprived. But as we can see, a lot of wonderful things can happen, and let's all cut off a slice of Christa's thinking process of this mindfulness. And she often also uses the word power nap. Life is quite as busy that, that it doesn't, it fills up easily. So we fill it up with the right things and also see those opportunities we choose to. Now I suggest, I'm sure Kalyan, you're not gonna be happy if we're gonna play your music, but we're gonna try. And so for those who want to just listen for another 2 minutes, my sister will walk through, Florence will walk through the exhibition rooms and play one of the winter songs or perhaps the water paintings I selected to, and you can listen to it. But in any case, it's goodbye from us now, and we absolutely appreciate your time and wish you a wonderful Sunday morning or evening or wherever you are in the world.
you.